While the IL-2 is the crown jewel of red tank killers, the Pe-2 is no slouch. It doesn't have the IL-2's tank-shredding VYA-23 cannon, and its ROS-132 rockets are harder to aim and less effective than the IL-2's ROFS-132 rockets. The Pe-2 does carry a better bomb load. Even so, why would anyone pick a Pe-2 over an IL-2 for multiple pass tank attacks? Well, I can think of a few reasons. First, if the anticipated enemy fighter threat is high around the target area, the Pe-2 sports the best rear gunners in the game, especially with the blister turret. However, after the most recent aircraft damage model updates, the Pe-2 is not quite the kryptonite of Axis fighters that it once was. A big part of its rear gunner effectiveness was simply the aircraft's ability to sustain lots of damage and stay in the air, thus giving the gunners more opportunities to put the hurt on enemy fighters. That damage sustainment capability has been reduced, but unless you are a dogfighting wizard in the IL-2, the Pe-2 is still a very good option for surviving an encounter with an enemy fighter. Second, if your bombing skills are superb, but your rocket and strafing kills not so much, 10 FAB-100 bombs is still a lot of tank whip-ass. The FAB-100 can defeat any tank in the Axis inventory, including the mighty Ferdinand. And finally, the Pe-2 is also adept at single-pass bombing, as we covered long ago in this video on single-pass tank busting. So if you're unsure of conditions over the target area concerning flak or enemy fighters, and you might want to stick around and make multiple passes if things are looking good, or just make one run and get the hell out of there if things are hot, the Pe-2 with the 10 FAB-100 loadout gives you those options. Single pass attacks are definitely not the IL-2's forte. Now, if you saw my previous video covering shallow angle attack dive tank busting in the IL-2, you will recall a shallow angle is defined as generally 10 to 20 degrees, dropping the bomb very close to the tank. That technique is also possible with the Pe-2, but this aircraft doesn't like it when you jerk the nose around, and it will let you know quite often what it thinks about that. So personally, I have found that a dive angle of 32 to 37 degrees, which falls around the high end of the low angle dive spectrum of 25 to 35 degrees, works well for me. So it doesn't matter if the tanks are in the open or covered by obstacles. That discriminator, which is highly relevant when choosing a plan of attack with an IL-2, is a non-factor for me in the Pe-2 with bombs, or rockets for that matter, as we'll see in the next video. The sight picture I'm looking for at bomb release is similar to that of the IL-2 when using the low angle attack dive technique. And just like in the IL-2, I'm looking to hit the bomb release button when the tank is just under the gun sight bezel ring, somewhere in this area. The exact point I hit the button is based on slight differences in dive angle from attack to attack, and you just have to practice it a little to develop the feel for the exact right moment to drop. If you take the ROS-132 rockets and 6 FAB-100s, all 6 bombs are in the bomb bay, and you have to open the bomb bay doors to drop. If you're taking 10 FAB-100s and no rockets, when dropped to singles, the first 4 bombs are under the belly and the final 6 are in the bomb bay. In the following example mission, I'll drop 10 FAB-100s, primarily from a 32 to 37 degree attack dive angle. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you how to take out a Panzer 38T without having to use bombs or rockets. Rolling into the target area here. I got the nose trim all the way back to 100% tail heavy, just to make sure we pull out of every dive. It's very important to do that on the Pe-2. Try to hit this elephant. That looked a little long. See how that works out. See that tiger down there on the road curve? Try to go hit that. Looked like a hit. God damn. Does anybody know why the view goes to partial zoom when you're switching between aircraft? Does that happen to everybody, or is that just me? Or if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know in the comments section. Because that shit is annoying. We'll do a shallow pass here on this tank in the open. That wasn't as shallow as I wanted it to be, partially because I was too high when I started my attack dive, and the ground looked a little sloping on the other side of it. It's a little bit higher than normal. Hit that tiger at that intersection. Whoa. Yeah, look at my airspeed indicator. I always try to keep it above 200 kph on the turnaround, but I was fiddle fucking around looking at stuff and I missed it. That thing will fall out from under you if the speed gets too low. Fuck, was that 4 bombs? Yep. I forgot to open the bomb bay door. You gotta open that door after bomb number 4. See how dumb shit comes in waves? Thing's probably hid by the trees now. Yep. Yeah, there's a Panther right beside it. I'm not crazy about when there's a bunch of trees a short distance behind the tank. That's usually, if you're gonna hit something, that's what it is. That look like it might be a little long. Make another run on this tiger. Oops. That one looked a little long too. Shit, that was long too. Alright, so all the bombs are out. Now let's go find a Panzer 38T. Since we're done bombing, take the trim, move it back down to 0. No, that's not a good candidate because of all the trees. It needs to be in the open. See if we can find another one. There's one. So you can actually kill this Panzer 38T. Oh shit, hang on. I got this new Verpal stick, and for some reason the trigger freezes in place. Anyway, you can kill the 38T by strafing it because the armor's so thin. I call that thing Baby Cream Puff. It's got to be like the early model 38T and not the later model that was actually in higher numbers on the East Front. That thing has just absolutely zero resilience to cannon fire or even machine gun fire. The secret, you got to get in close. Watch. You got to know when to pull up, but if you can get them in super close, you usually kill that thing in 1 or 2 passes. Just like that. In the next video, we'll talk about shooting ROS-132 rockets off the Pe-2. Thanks for watching. This is HVB. Peace out.